This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Mike, how was your weekend? How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing reasonably well. Still trying to process that basketball game and what happened in that thing. But, you know, other than that.
I'm there with you.
That
Mike.
second half was just weird. It was, I don't understand. I don't even know how to explain that second half.
Well, I tried to make the point, and you never know for sure because you're not in there. You're not in Vandy's locker room. You don't know what happened. But it looked like to me the refs probably overreacted a little bit to that incident right before halftime. I went back and looked at it. If I'm reviewing it, I give probably a flagrant to the push, but that's where it stops. And then that point you have, you've got Anthony Black shooting his and one, and then you bring on Council to shoot two more free throws, and you get the ball back. But when you assess the guy, too, and kick him out of the game, and then you explain that, and Stackhouse goes nuts, and he gets a technical. Now you're shooting 7, and then Black comes out, and he's about to shoot, and somebody's jawing at him. I don't know who, you can't see, but then he's doing the crying thing, like, too bad, are you sad? And, I guess they go into the locker room and just, Stackhouse has got a ready-made speech, right? Are we going to let them do this to us on our floor? And they came out all fired up. Now, that doesn't necessarily translate. Big O used to do that to Texas, and they'd go nuts and play terrible. And he'd back it up. He'd play better. So I don't know that helped him hit more threes, but I think it affected the officiating. That's what I ask myself. What did those guys say when they went into their halftime dressing room? Are they talking about that and go, maybe we shouldn't have gone that far? Okay, because what I see in the second half is every time those guys drive the lane, they either make a shot or they get fouled. And some of those didn't look like fouls to me. It was like you have no choice. You're either going to let the guy drive in there and make a layup or you're going to foul him. But either way, they're going to score. So, the second half just went nuts. Those guys scored 91 points. I've watched them play a few games this year. They never played like that before. But we've seen that. I saw Auburn play much better than they typically had played.
Well, they were challenged. They were challenged in a way that has nothing to do with statistics, has nothing to do with game plan. And I know, you listen to Muss in the post game and then watch the replay of it. They didn't follow certain game plans, defensively more than anything else. Too many open threes, too many easy baskets too. I felt like I watched a team that just played passively, defensively when they got up by 10. I don't know. It's like they felt they'd won the game by then, And Vandy, that's probably the best 17 minutes they'd played under Jerry Stackhouse and however long he's been there, 2 or 3 years. That's the best they've played, and that's the worst half that I think Arkansas has played under Eric Musselman. So in my mind, Mike, it can only get better from here, right? But you're going into Mizzou, a team that, I don't believe the whole idea any longer about there's a target on our back because of this and that. Mizzou's got a target on Arkansas because they've already beaten them and already punked them a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably right. And look, the on-ball defense, that's the problem that I see. Your guys are just blowing right around somebody, and if somebody gets picked, nobody's
they're not
helping
speaking,
out.
are they? Are they talking? I just don't hear the next guy talking, Mike. That's a very good point. Whenever you play defense, you have to tell him, and it's like the guy gets screened, and he's like looking back at him like, bro, you can help me out and say screen.
Sure, and that happened over and over. Their shooting percentage was unbelievable overall, like 70-something percent. In the second half, it was just crazy, and they were fairly average in the first half. So they got motivated. I don't know what caused Arkansas to come out and be so flat in the second half. When you go back to December, and I'm not sure I buy this completely, that Muss saying, well, the competition's better. Well, maybe it's better, but they didn't exactly play a bunch of punks in December. And in a lot of those games, different people would step up in difficult situations. and you're just not seeing that right now. I mean, you got Jalen Graham playing really good one game, and then he kind of doesn't play and comes in and doesn't make some shots and fouls a three-point shooter, and now he's on the bench again. And Walsh started off rough, then he came on for a few games. Now he's back. Where's that guy? And Musselman's better teams, and really all of them have been this way. The three previous, there were guys that stepped up. And I don't see that right now, at least during this stretch. So I don't know if it takes Nick Smith Jr. coming back, which it looks like he is, but nobody knows when. Hopefully it's not over by the time he gets back.
Yeah, we're going to have to win some games, but we were talking last week, 1-4 in conference play. You go to Missouri and you're 1-5. I mean, I don't have us picked to win that game after how this team's been playing. I want us to win, don't get me wrong, but watching basketball and seeing what's going on, we can't win on the road. And it's going to this might be I was saying this Vanderbilt game might be our springboard, but this next game against Missouri might kind of sink the ship or let's ride and get on a 5-6 game winning streak.
Yeah, well, you got to assume they'll play better. A lot of that depends on how Mizzou plays. I mean, they're good, and they're coming off a loss, so they're going to be kind of desperate. We got to bounce back. We can't afford to lose at home. It looks tough to me. I mean, if I had to put money on it, I wouldn't put it on Arkansas, but hopefully I'm wrong about that.
Mike, what worries me right now, and I look at every sport the same way in this context. I trust teams that show the ability to win games in different ways. Like a baseball team that can win, 10-8 and win 2-1. Like a football team that can win a game in the 40s and win a game in the teens. I feel the same way about basketball. And what's worrying me right now about Arkansas is they're losing. They lost a track meet. They lost a track meet to Vanderbilt. They lost a road game to Auburn, and we're kicking that in there because, Auburn had a 26-game winning, so they couldn't score at Auburn. That's a game that maybe you try to grind it down. It's the same with LSU. They're losing the games that are low scoring that maybe if you're a grinded out kind of a team, you win. And they've lost a track meet, where they had a 10-point lead. And that's the sort of game that I thought maybe, if they start getting out and running, they're going to have a good time and everybody's scoring sooner or later. Right now, they're showing the ability to lose games in a lot of different ways. That's not you don't want to be the Thomas Edison of losing right now, and that's what they're doing. And, it's tough to stop that once it gets going.
Well, again, it's going to take, I think there was so much emphasis on the poor offensive production. You can't shoot threes and all this stuff. And I kept looking at it, and I'm going, yeah, that may be an issue, but defense is not what's there. And then it really got emphasized in this game. And that's correctable. I don't know that you can automatically make people better shooters. I think you can run your interior offense better, and they've done that well at times. But the defense is definitely improvable. And that's really been the difference in these three teams that he's had before where they got off to a rough start. They started playing much better defense. So maybe that's what we'll see, because that's definitely what they need. Defense without fouling, because they're fouling way too much right now. And it just seems like everybody they play just shoots incredible from the free throw line.
Yeah, it seems like maybe last week they worked on shooting. I would think this week, Mike, that they might not even scrimmage with a basketball. It's like we're going to play defense because, like Phil said, 84 points should have been enough to beat Vanderbilt, and you can't give up 63.5, and I bet Muss is on them this week.
Yeah, you got to believe that. And, I mean, we can't assume that it's over. I mean, his history suggests that's not true. He said there's some things this year that are different, but I just think some people have to step up. Black is a very good player. He had a rough second half. He needs to have a good game. He's been turning it over too much lately, maybe getting himself in trouble. Once again, guys, they don't really have a true point guard. To me, everybody that's handling the ball is a 2, not a 1. And I don't even know that that's what Nick Smith is, but if you bring him back, I think
Nick Smith is a 2, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what you do there, but what I see is somebody dribbling in and then they're trapped because there's nobody around for them to get the ball to. There's no movement away from the ball. So these are things obviously that they need to work on. But I agree with you, Matt. I think defense is what you got to do going into this Missouri game. You just can't give up wide open layups. You can't get beat off the ball, off the dribble like they've been getting beat. And maybe try to play defense without fouling.
Yeah, where's our fast break points and getting defense, getting steals, and getting out and getting those easy baskets? It seems like we're struggling for everything. You know, that we might get 6-8 points that are easy baskets. We're in those non-conference games, we were getting 24 points on those easy baskets.
Men's team's going in the other direction right now. The women's team's going in the other direction right now too, Mike. They've got 3 wins in a row. They're blowing teams out.
I really thought they were in for a rough year after I was actually shooting that LSU game, so I saw it up close, and I thought, this is miserable. Mm-hmm. Have they really improved at all? And I think now what we realize is LSU is pretty good, but I got to give Arkansas credit for bouncing back from that. That could have been a shock that was hard to get over. But they've looked really good since then. Now they got, the game tonight, and then you're going back facing LSU and South Carolina, so you're probably not going to win either one of those games, but just play well, be competitive. I've been impressed with them except for that one game. You take that one LSU game away, and this is the best women's team I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, they D it up. They really do. They can D it up, and a lot of times, like we talk about, I think with the men, defense, you can talk about having length, having size. Toughness and all of that. It's effort. So the first thing that you'll hear about with defense when you talk to coaches about it, it's effort. It's hustle. It's some people roll their eyes about, but it's effort, man. That's what defense is.
I agree 100%. Let's bring it on. Let's see it.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.